Good morning. This is WXON, Detroit, Michigan, beginning another day of scheduled telecasting.
Yes, sir, we promised you a great main event here tonight.
Andre, the China WrestleMania!
Hulkamania is running wild.
My God, what a run!
It's not the world is watching.
TV 20, WXON, Detroit.
Good Tuesday morning, everybody. It is me, PW Etep, cooing from the Place to Be Reviews, coming off a great show last night. I'd like to thank everybody for watching because the numbers were higher than they've been in weeks last night, and I don't understand what's going on with the numbers, but hey, we had a fun time last night. I'm kind of playing hurt. Not really hurt, but just a little bit sick. Everybody in the house has got some kind of stomach bug, and I wasn't sure if I was going to do the show this morning or not. This is gone today. I'm fucking shaving this thing off. Not the beard, but just this. This is gone. We're going to start growing her back in full again. So by the end of summer, I'll look like Grizzly Adams again. But no, everybody's got a stomach bug. In the fucking house, so we're not, like I said, I couldn't go. I was supposed to teach today. I feel bad. Hopefully they found somebody. I gotta go turn that light off in the back of the room. I just realized how bad that glare was. I just realized how I was like, man, hopefully they have a sub, because the kids have only got like 2 weeks of school left. I have 7 days to put together a complete field day. Let me acknowledge this wonderful chat. Gap After Dark, my mod is here. Hail, Gap. Brutal Morningwood, get this one. My brother changed his oil yesterday, never properly closed his hood. This morning on the way to hood, the hood flew up and smashed his windshield again. Okay, the fact that that's happened before is concerning, Brutal. Oh, God. Morning, Horny Alf. Hail, brother. Morning, Godzillionaire. Brightest Day. Hail. Yeah, I think there's some, I think, again, with The Little Mermaid here, we've got some chicanery, some foolishness, shenanigans going on with the box office. As we reported on the numbers last night, normally, by Monday morning on a normal weekend, they would have like your percentage drops from the weekend before, and they don't have that updated for the weekend yet. And I know it's a holiday weekend, but we're into Tuesday now. This is your Monday. Your numbers should be in, all right? And it doesn't change reporting from Monday to Tuesday. So they should be in, and they're not. They're not reporting that yet on, but at least Box Office Mojo. Ryan, Roger, Athe, would you like a link, sir? If you're free, you can jump in with me. We're only going to go for about an hour here. If you want to jump in, you can. I'll shoot you a link. I was going to have the vampire on, but he is He's still sleeping in his coffin. And I said, what an uncultured swine. Us Egyptians sleep in sarcophaguses. Is it sarcophagi? Or is it sarcophagus? Guess? Sarcophaguses? Or is it sarcophagi? I don't know. I'll ask Ryan. Hang on, let me shoot you a link, brother. Let's see. Let me scroll over here to the old Twitter. And, oh shit, I missed a message from the Rookie Critic yesterday. Apparently we were supposed to meet up on StreamYard. I've got to start. One reason, there's a link right there for you, Ryan. One reason I have to shave this ridiculous, what's left of my once glorious beard off is for a role I'm doing for Rook, and I have to look like somewhat professional. Now I can trim the beard up. I got to, like I said, I've just been kind of letting it grow in. I got to trim this, and I'm going to go into the barber shop. I'll do this, but I'm going to go into the barber shop and have them line it all up for me. But yeah, I have to look like, because I never get it back here, like lined up right and even. So, and this has been grooming with Etep. Wait, am I allowed to sit? I meant facial hair grooming. Speaking of facial hair grooming,
I haven't done my hair. Usually, folks, it takes me half an hour to do my hair before I go live. So.
That's like me when my beard was really long. It's like I had to get the straight, because I got the straightener for it, and you have to brush straightener, you have to straighten it out and everything. You have to look presentable, because if I sleep on one side of my face, I wake up and my shit's all matted. Luckily, I don't have to worry about that up here anymore. You know, that shipped and sailed years ago.
I'll have that problem pretty soon, Etep, but it's great to be here.
Welcome, man. Welcome. This is a pleasant surprise, to be sure.
Likewise. Well, I save my facial appearances for streams now, because these lights can be very annoying. It's a good job it's sunny, so I don't need to put this light on, but this one is Chinese-made crap. I only bought it because it was cheap.
Yeah, that sounds like my first wife. She came with a Wayfair cabinet. I was like, you can't miss here. But no, thank you for being here, man. I was talking a little bit about, I think, there's some shenanigans at the box office with The Little Mermaid over the weekend. Because the numbers are just, they're not reporting it. And, I think Godzillionaire hit it right. He said, Monday box office brought to you by Dominion.
Well, just like the election, folks, they rigged the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So I wouldn't put it past them to rig the box office numbers so it's passable, as it were, running damage control, as they say, all the while blaming us Alliance of Alternatives members for review bombing.
Yeah, that was one thing that got me. It's like everything is review bombing. You can't just dislike a movie. It's got to be review bombing. Hail, fake Thai dude. What's going on, man? Welcome. And it's like, whoa, hey, buddy. What's going on?
Hello.
Yep. What?
Are you gonna be done?
I just started. But that's what she said.
Hello,
okay, we can.
kiddo.
Hey, we'll play afterwards, all right?
Okay.
All right? Here, come here. You want an earbud? You can say hi.
Okay.
Hello. How you doing?
Hello.
Whoop. Hang on. We got to get it.
I was about to catch it with my neck.
There you go.
Hello. Well, isn't this a surprise? A cameo.
Mini Etep decided to come down.
There's a future rising star for you right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, if I just quit right now and just produce the videos and let him be the face, we'd have 500 times as many subscribers.
Well,
Get out.
He says, "Get out."
Just get out. Get out.
Oh no.
Let me have the glasses.
What?
Let me have the earbuds. Get out. Get out.
Believe it or not, kiddo,
Get
I am
out.
23 years old. I don't look it, but I'm quite young. So.
Say, you're only. How old are you?
I'm 7.
When are you gonna be 8?
into. What is the next one?
Yeah, it's July. Well, July.
July is when I'm. July 7th.
Yep, he'll be 8. And
I'll
he's
be
4 foot.
24 next month.
You'll be 24 next month?
Yes.
I said I turned 43 in April. Nobody believes me when I say that.
Likewise.
I believe you, though.
You do because, well, I wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why.
Dad, can I clap you?
What?
Can I clap you?
Sure.
Oh. I've never seen that before.
This is like taking the Ric Flair chops, but twice, like 2 times. All right. Hey, what? Go ahead. Oh, he's working stiff this morning. You gotta hit more right here. There you go, backhand. There you go, the backhanded one. All right, I love you. Go chill until I'm done.
Okay, I'm still being on my tablet.
That's
Can
fine.
I see how I look with the glasses and the other earbud?
Here.
No,
you don't need the other earbud. There you go.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. All right, I love you.
Okay, see.
Give me my earbud back, you little
No.
monstrosity. All right, come here.
Wait, should Dad get one?
No, don't put the earbud in the dog.
One
All right.
more clap.
Wait, no more claps. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, one more.
Bye.
Ow! All right, go, you little monster. I love you. Go. I'll see you in a little bit. And now I get a back scratch because he's like, I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry. All right, go.
Okay, bye, Dad.
I love you,
bye,
Duder.
Peter Sylvain. Now you go this second.
Thanks for doxing me, bud.
Speed is coming in.
Oh no, a doggy too.
Oh, yeah. Did you take the dog? Why is the cat in here? Oh, Jesus. Well, this has gone off the rails real quick, folks. And this is what happens whenever...
Put locks on your...
I have a lock. I just never have to use it. You know, the cat's in here. He's gonna make an appearance here soon. Yeah. So Morning Joe's atmosphere. Hail. He says, yeah, neither of you look your age. But no. So before I was. No, the dog's up there barking at him. I'm sure somebody probably walked by. The garbage is getting picked up or something. What do you want? Hang on. All right.
Sure, by all means.
Come here. Out. There. I think that's all the animals and everybody. It's nice without the green screen in here. I don't have to worry about bumping into anything.
How my office is arranged, Etep, the door is there. So if my father makes a cameo, you won't be able to see him because he has walked in on shows of reality based, sometimes without clothes on. So I am very grateful that I have arranged my office, formerly my bedroom, into what it is today.
I had to build mine. Well, like the area was here when we moved into this house. Like it has a massive basement. And I was like, I need to. So all we did was right in front of me. There's a wall we built because the office is 11 by 17, and because I needed to have it big enough for the toys and I've got the 55, the 30, and the 20-inch monitors, and I have, like I said, the TV was back there, but since we started playing Mario Kart, I moved it right here because the wife comes down here on Saturday nights and sits in and she plays, gets on the stream. She'll take an earbud so she can talk to everybody on the stream, but she's not a YouTuber. She just likes the Mario Kart stuff.
I tell you, my good man, 3 monitors, wife and kids, you'll live in the American dream.
I retired at 38 basically, which was kind of nice. Like I said, I substitute now just for kicks. Basically, they needed a teacher, and it's like whatever. So I teach gym, and then 4th and 5th, and then 6th, 7th, and 8th grade in the classroom. So
well, I'll tell you this, folks. This is our pre-reality based show because we will be having Etep on tomorrow, and it's always great to go through the origins and happenings as a creator. And since our good man Stephen Walton is moving from Florida, well, I guess this guy's the main man of Rogue Entertainment until Stephen finds a new base. And well, I can cosplay as Stephen. I'm not as passionate as he is. I'm also not as American as he is. but I will try my best.
You just, heavy is the head that wears the crown, I guess. But yeah, I saw he was moving, so hope he lands somewhere permanent soon. He's not going to be Florida man anymore, huh? So no. I guess we won't be seeing him in any Pinellas County stories of debauchery and chicanery over there.
Well, he started off in the north.
Yep.
Then he went south. He might as well go west.
Yeah, I would go, honestly, right now. If I had to move anywhere, I would probably move to Texas. I would go to Texas or Tennessee. I love Tennessee. I spent time down there. I worked down there before, and I absolutely love it. It was in the Knoxville area, right around the University of Tennessee. I got spoiled, though, because I was driving around in Aston Martin. Brand new 2008, belonged to my dad's client. She was like, and then she had a Mercedes that her husband bought her from George Jones, the country singer, and that was. And then I had to go home and drive my '97 Dodge Intrepid. This was like, in my late 20s. I was about 27, 28, and it's like I have to go back and drive like this just bucket, and I've been driving this, couple $100,000 luxury car that the tires cost, 6 times as much as my whole ride does, and it was a fun experience. But Tennessee it was beautiful. The people were friendly. I loved it. It being from the north. Like, I walk by someone on the sidewalk in most cities in Michigan, and if you even acknowledge their existence, unless you're in like a smaller town, they look at you like you're some kind of lunatic. And I'm somebody, if somebody makes eye contact with me, I'll give them a nod of acknowledgement or, just a smile and, how you doing? Because I was raised in a small town, and it's just being polite, I mean, I don't know. I think that's lost, and that's bad, is that we've lost that human connection as much as we have. Technology connects us more. Does it though? Because it disconnects us more. It makes us more reliant
it's a very
on this.
Contradictory device, as it were. It brings us together, but it keeps us apart. I'll tell you guys a little stream secret. When I look this way, folks, it looks like I'm looking at Etep, but in all honesty, I'm actually looking at myself, because if I look at Etep like this, it looks like I'm not looking at Etep. So I look at myself, so that you guys think that I'm looking at Etep. It looks a lot more genuine, but in reality, ladies and gentlemen, I'm actually looking at myself. But you guys don't know that, especially if you're casual viewers. So if people are looking at the opposite of each other, it's because they're actually looking at each other.
Yep. It is. It's funny too. Did you notice that StreamYard added this little an extra camera feature on, so you can take your camera and you can do this. You can mirror it.
Oh, I can't stand mirroring my camera. It looks weird.
I know. It is. It's just, then you're reaching the wrong way, and if you're looking at your screen, it's funny. But Gap, do you like looking at yourself, Ryan?
Not really. I've looked like this for 10 years, but in order to look as if we are being very engaged with one another, because if we both look actually at each other, it looks like we're not looking at each other.
Yeah.
Which is that kind of contradiction, as it were. But I can still hear the man. I can see him in my peripheral vision, and it looks like I'm engaging quite well. So much the better. Plus, I can turn into an Asian anytime I want.
You look like Bray Wyatt with your glasses off. If you know who Bray Wyatt is, like the wrestler, he does. He looks like Bray Wyatt. Like it's eerie. It's eerie. I don't know if you're much of a wrestling fan or not.
I was.
Okay.
For quite a while. When I was younger, I'd go through the history of wrestling and how it's changed over the decades. It seems to be having a bit of a renaissance as of late, but whether or not it's a false dawn is up to interpretation.
Yeah, I did my last 3 videos are all wrestling reviews of AEW. I did a pay-per-view review yesterday, and I tell you, I was, and as somebody who spent, like I said, a decade in the business, the state of it now is sad. It really is, because I saw it at the tail end of my career when I got out. The shift in the caliber of athlete in the locker room went from, you had men who were legit tough guys to I don't like to use the term soy boys because it's so overplayed and oversaturated with, use, but it's basically, that's what it is. A lot of these guys now are. Like, when I came in the locker room, you had guys in there that are, you're smoking weed, you're drinking beer in the back, you're chasing skirt, and now these guys are chasing fucking Pokemon. And I don't mean to knock anybody that plays Pokemon Go, because I've played it before too, but I wasn't doing it in a fucking wrestling locker room. No. You know what I mean? I don't, and it's like I'm working with guys in the back, and like in 2016 it got really bad because the locker room, the company I was with was run by just a bleeding heart, flaming fucking idiot liberal who. And this is the kind of guy that lays down at a BLM protest, puts duct tape over his mouth, and he's a white guy. Oh, and lays in the middle of a street and says, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Like, yeah, I mean, this is the kind of and I couldn't. So me and my tag partner, who were both basically like libertarians, and our stable started kind of like doing ribs to him. Like, we'd come out and we'd act like leftists and do protests in the ring with signs and shit and stomp our feet, and one of us would lay on the ground and throw a temper tantrum. And it got to the point, he was like, and the crowd fucking ate it up because we were the heels, so the crowd ate it up. And he well, guys, that's not really cool. And we're like, what? We're just peacefully protesting, and the crowd likes it. I mean, and he got mad, but it was just like, dude, don't, and then after the election, well, we got to all stay together. And it's like, I mean, I had somebody that one of these guys in the back that wanted to he would never say anything to me face to face, because I mean, I'm 6'3", 245 pounds. This guy's about, 5'9", about $170 soaking wet, and has literally no muscle on him at all. Like, the guy can't, doesn't, I trained with him, and there's no testosterone involved. And he'd get online, he'd kind of flap his gums. So we're in a battle royal, and I just teed up on him a couple times and just lit him up. Just potatoed him a couple times and fucking just pitched him over the top rope before he was even ready for it. I'm like, you're going, and all I heard was what? And then I just fucking launched him. I'm like, see ya.
Need a fat, loud, 300-pound cruiserweight killer to turn these little 100-pound boys into men, as it were.
And it is. It's just, and it's a shift, and it's reflected in the mainstream product now, because you got Tony Khan in AEW booking 160, 170 pounders in the main event for the heavyweight title, when you like Darby Allin 160, Sammy Guevara 190 if he's lucky, and what's the other one? Jungle Boy Jack Perry, Luke Perry's, the late Luke Perry's son. They got him at 200 pounds, and I'm like, this guy's 160 pounds soaking wet. Like, and then MJF,
the three of them taking on a sort of a Yokozuna type figure with 500 pounds, but moved like a man half his size. That would be a very interesting kind of match.
Back in the day, you'd book him against, what was the dude's name? Haystacks. He was from across the pond. He played. He come into WCW in the late '90s, right before he passed away. But the guy was he played Loch Ness. He was Loch Ness in WCW. That was his name. But yeah, the guy was he couldn't do anything, but he was just massive. I mean, when he was younger, he had slightly more mobility. But yeah, I'd like to see those little guys work against somebody like him and just get squashed. Kind of like they used to do back in the day. But no, you had Maxwell Jacob Friedman against those three in the main event, and he's a legit wrestler. I mean, the guy's an amazing heel. He's got a physique for it. I mean, he looks like a worker, and he's in heel character 24/7, like online, at conventions. Like, he healed out on a little girl and like called her like a piece of shit in front of her dad. I mean, but she gave it right back to him, and they had it back and forth, and it was the dad was just. It was amazing. It was amazing. So it's like you have somebody like him who is like you can build around, but you need a baby-faced counterpart, and they don't have that. They've got people they could elevate to that. Guys like Wardlow that they could elevate, but they don't. They just choose not to, and they keep these. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating in a roundabout way. It's just frustrating. Hey, Papa Cotton, what's going on? Welcome, sir. But I won't rant about wrestling too much. But yeah, that's it. It's frustrating.
Too many lightweights, both physically and mentally.
Oh, the mental lightweights are See, 6'3", 45 versus 3'6", 42. That was like what? Who the hell was it? We went to the bar one night after a show. It was me, my buddy Big Chuck, who's like about 6'5", about 330, and then other dude Dave, who's like 6'7", about 400 pounds. And I walked in between them, and it looked like they were my bodyguards. It was fucking hilarious. It was fun. God damn it, Johnny. Hail, Johnny JP7, scissor me, daddy hairless. Wait, you got to do the fucking acclaim. No, I'm not doing that shit. I ain't doing that gay shit. Them two, yeah. That match the other night with the House of Black. If you want to hear me rant, watch my review of Dynamite, or not Dynamite, but Double or Nothing. I got Rampage, Dynamite, and Double or Nothing from last week, and I'll be reviewing Dynamite from tomorrow night, and then we're watching Rampage as a group Friday. But yeah, so that's it. I got to get some stuff up. Shout out to the peeps on Subscribe Star supporting the channel while we get ready to reapply for monetization in 3 days. We're eligible to reapply. So
because YouTube extended the time period in May from 30 days, unfortunately, to 90 days. Although I will say, Etep, if I were to ever book a wrestling show, you start off slow and then slowly but surely ramp things up until the crowd is popping and everything explodes, and then you end the show. And then you just rinse and repeat that concept. It's like up, and then up, and then up, and hopefully no one gets injured.
Yeah. Well, that all comes from you got guys that want to do nothing but high spots in the ring and do these insane moves that you see on video games. But it's like what's his name? The Action Andretti that got hurt. He broke his ankle doing a Canadian destroyer off a ladder onto another ladder and just blew his ankle out.
What like that shit is just jumping from the top rope, the starfish,
right?
For example.
Yep. Yeah. Frog splash, stuff like that. Yeah. Hey, what up, Justin Proper? Hey, I got to hang out with Justin down at Horror Hound, which was a blast. And he's got one of these, which you can get too. I got to ship a couple of these out. You want a new Wakui in order shirt? We got large, 2X, extra large right here. $10 plus shipping. They could be yours, ladies and gents. So we still got a few left here. And then if you want the variant colors, we got those over on Teespring. Wait, just got back from a crazy busy week. Social media hibernations are fun. Well, you missed all the Little Mermaid. Oh yeah, say hi to me too, Justin. Thanks, buddy.
I recently made a video on the flopping of the Little Mermaid remake. It will be released at 6 p.m. UK time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central, not p.m., well, midday Central, 11 a.m. Mountain, and 10 a.m. Pacific time. So hopefully you will enjoy that. In regards to what's been going on, well, I've tried my best to speak my mind. I've recently joined Rogue Entertainment with this fine gentleman here, and the one, the only, the author, Stephen Walton, who's taking a bit of a hiatus. But, well, if Etep ever needs a guest, he knows where to find me. I save my facial appearances now for being on shows, because I said before, these lights, when I'm doing, say, a video, it's the summertime now, so it gets very warm. And it's hard enough reading a script, never mind these lights. So, yeah, that's what's been going on.
I wanna touch on Papa Kai. He says grown men whining about the Little Mermaid is weird. Just saying. Well, I'm not so much whining about the movie. I honestly don't care. I watched the 1989. I was 9 years old. I watched it with my little sisters. You know, it was the Disney animated movies as a kid. Yeah, I watched pretty much all of those. You know, but I don't care about the movie. What I care about is the blackwashing, and that is a thing. That is a thing, and that door only swings one way, and we know that. And that, to me, is the bone of contention, as it were, if we're speaking in terms of writing. That is the bone of contention, is that this door only swings one way. You don't ever see, like, okay, Halle Bailey, that is in this, that plays Little Mermaid, Ariel, is in the remake of The Color Purple, which I don't understand why you need a modern retelling of The Color Purple, which came out in the 1980s. That makes no sense.
It's designed, in my view, Etep, this remake is designed to destroy yet another story. Same with The Color Purple. All these remakes are designed to do is to destroy our popular culture, so it can be remade anew by an establishment who wants the Western world to suffer a fate worse than death, which is continuing political correctness, social justice, where you have a hierarchy of victimhood. The bigger the victim you are, the more rights you have. And, of course, identity politics, race swapping, and tokenizing people as shields for the establishment. That's the main problem with this film. It's designed to brainwash the young and the impressionable who have never seen The Little Mermaid before. And it's also designed to tear apart our popular culture in the West. And if you can do that, you can tear apart the wider culture. And then bye-bye freedom in every way, shape, or form. Bye-bye. No guns, no rights, no nothing.
Did you know the girl's eyes are actually like that? I thought that was CGI to make her look like a fish. No, that's her eyes. She looks like a what is that? Like a Sid the Sloth from Ice Age, like that Leguizamo's character. And having a kid, I've seen those Ice Age movies a million times. But yeah, that's my problem with it. Is not, like I said, I don't care about the movie. You know, being.
Just like Peter Pan and Wendy, it's possible for those who have never seen it before, mainly the young and the impressionable, who I highlighted earlier.
And I grew up with the Peter Pan, story, and that is the thing. The Lost Boys are lost boys. They're not girls, and they have girls, and it's like, that doesn't make sense. That's completely away from what that group was supposed to be, because they were foolish boys who had ventured out, and that's how they ended up lost boys. The girls, they were what they were alluding to is they were too clever to get caught in that kind of, in that situation. That's why they needed a mother, and that's why they wanted Wendy, which
to conflate things, to conflate boy and girl, so it doesn't matter, so the establishment can tear apart those terms and cut off your children's penises and put them on your other children's vaginas. These people are sick and are willing to do anything they can to brainwash your children, because I don't have a family or children, into being ravenous, as I like to call them, tranny demons.
Yeah.
Good luck on your monetization, by the way.
That's the thing. Is the only time I've had any community guidelines issues was I showed a fight video that was already on YouTube, and I got a community guidelines warning from that. Nothing we've ever said has done anything else than turn the stream from green on monetization to yellow, which is, I don't care.
Well, the only time I've gotten a warning, Etep, was for criticizing that tranny demon Leah Thomas for, being a biological male in a woman's competition.
Yeah.
And even the swimming authority agreed with me later on, but that warning is still up there, and they'll never get rid of it, because they are a bunch of bastards.
Right, what's her name? Riley Gaines, the female swimmer that spoke out about this, and it's sad because and like I said, just speaking from somebody with an athletic background, who worked to participate in team sports and individual sports as well. It's sad, especially on the women's side, to see athletes that work as hard as Riley did and then get pushed aside because a mediocre guy can't cut it. And she's like, well, screw it, I'm just going to be a woman then, because that's what I can do now, because society set it up to say that that's okay. And then for that university that she was at to let her be assaulted and barricaded in a room like that is sick. And the police to do, okay, if the police were doing their jobs, that shit would have been over in about 2 minutes. That you just, okay, if you're not going to leave her alone and you're not going to disperse of your own, we're going to disperse you. And that's not me being a bootlicking, jackbooted thug. No, that's me wanting to protect somebody who is exercising their First Amendment right, which is an inalienable right of hers.
And we have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, when the authorities fail the people, it's up to the people themselves to do the job. We saw this with the embers of the American Revolution. The authorities had failed the people, taxed them to the point of extortion without being represented in Parliament, and it caused the uprising, which caused the American Revolution. So when authorities fail, it's up to the people to fill the void, as it were. People who truly honor the principles to protect and to serve. Because if the establishment isn't going to do it, if government isn't going to do it, if even corporations are not willing to do it for a bit of coin, well, then it's up to the third main institution, which is the people. So, there's your tip.
Yeah. And we won't, that's the thing is, they use every excuse they can to try to take away rights. And that was the problem. And this is going to go all the way back to 9/11 was, I know it's YouTube and we can't talk about the entire situation, but I mean,
I was 2 when it happened. So
I remember I watched that shit, the live on TV when they started showing the second plane coming in. I was at work and we heard about the first one on the radio and we thought it was this morning show we were listening to playing some kind of stupid prank. And me and the guy that I was riding with in the truck came up from our shop to our showroom, and everybody in the showroom's around the TV, and then we saw the second plane fucking smack the tower.
Jeez.
And it's like, holy shit, this is real. And I mean, like I said, I was embarrassed because I voted for George W. Bush twice. I was embarrassed by that fact. I was, and I admitted it. That's the thing. People won't admit their mistakes. I do. I've spent since 2008 being completely fucking embarrassed because I voted, and not because I didn't vote for either John Kerry or Al Gore, because Jesus, I'm not voting for Frankenstein or Man Bear Pig. But I mean, and then of course Obama and McCain in 2008. I'm not voting for John McCain or Obama. I wrote in Ron Paul. Same thing in 2012. Obama or fucking Mitt fucking Romney.
Turn America into a Mormon paradise. Everyone have 6 wives.
Well, in concept, it's all right until they all sync up their menstrual cycles, and then
if he
it's hell on
wasn't a
earth.
rhino, I think people would have actually supported him and his Mormon agenda.
All rhinos, though. I mean, you've got pretty much the Republic. There's a few that aren't, but I mean, for the most part, and the ones that aren't rhinos they call MAGA extremists, which is fucking hilarious. But that's the state of tribalist politics today, which is bled all the way into entertainment, and that's why you get people like the MCU Stans and the Raylos and all these weirdos that want every fucking piece of entertainment to be gay or inclusive and diverse, which entertainment has pretty much been that since, I mean, we're talking, the 70s, you really saw more diversity kind of shine through. We didn't have John Wayne playing Genghis Khan anymore and stuff like that. But I mean, it's just, it's humorous that these people act like nothing ever happened before the year 2000. Like history is, well, I mean, you could even go to say like 2014, nothing ever happened before then. There was never any.
Oh, of course not, Etep. They lost the battles for the 20th century. First with fascism, and then with with communism. So, of course, going into the 21st century, we'll use new tactics, we'll infiltrate, we'll infest everything, we'll project all the way to hell and back, we'll deny the existence of any form of supernatural deity while embodying the very thing that those religions warned us about, to the point of possessing people and trying to possess people's children. Folks, Romans exists for a reason in the Bible, and so does First Corinthians. Just have a read of that, and you know what I'm talking about. I'm not even religious. I just see the value in it, especially in this day and age. But again, good luck with the monetization.
Yeah, there's definitely a disconnect today, and I'm not a fan of organized religion either because it breeds corruption
and decadence. But I always like putting that in there.
Absolutely. I do believe in people having a something greater than themselves that they put their faith in and use that as a guiding principle. And recently I had somebody tell me that if you need to believe in an imaginary God to make you be a good person, then you're a split second away from being a psychopath. I'm like, no.
Replace God with ideology, and you could say the same thing back at them.
Yep, and that was exactly it. I'm like, so you're offended because I believe in something greater than myself, and you put all your eggs in the ideological basket. Then that's basically was my response, to which I got blocked. I'm like, okay. So there was
on social media, Etep, it's best to observe, analyze behavior, and go from there. But even with that strategy, you're always tempted to speak your mind, especially for Americans, because it's built in your civilization to speak your mind, to pull no punches, and to take a bloody nose every now and again.
Yep.
And on social media, it's kind of hard to take a bloody nose because it's in a different world. A bloody nose on social media, say, for example, Twitter, would have to be a ratio. But then you could manipulate that with bots and all that sort of shenanigans. So, yeah.
Speaking of ratios, Horny Alf ratioed the bejesus out of Kotaku yesterday. Oh yeah, we'll take a look over there at that. It was
Memer managed to ratio one of America's biggest gaming websites. Because the truth is reality-based. That's why you should check out my show. Tomorrow we will have Etep on. Nice segue to promote the show. And
I like that.
Yeah, hopefully we have a good talk about the origins and happenings of this great guy, a family man, retired at 38, worked in a car shop and in the wrestling industry. So he's got lots of tales to tell, folks.
And like I said, FM radio DJ for 6 years. DJ SKN on Saturday night. Yep, that was my promo voice. Catch the flip side from 6 to 8 p.m. on Saturday nights. Y102. I got stuck on a pop style radio station, which is not my genre of music. I had no idea what a Dua Lipa was.
Woman.
So I had to look. I did. I looked her up. I'm like, I was like, she's much better if I just mute her. Okay.
This American mindset you must definitely teach your children. I always like saying, Etep, that the channels that survive are the multi-generational ones, because I could do this for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, but unless I have a successor or unless I start a family, it's hard enough looking after myself. But if I don't do one of those two things, then reality-based will essentially fade away, whereas with what you're doing, Etep, you do have the ability to turn a place to be reviews into a multi-generational channel. And I always like saying this. I said this to Bobs. But hopefully we can interview the father, and then in 10, 15 years, interview the son, and then 20 or 30 years later, interview the grandson of Etep, and have that record as you see me either turning white or turning bold and wrinkly. One of those.
that's my goal with when the kids started getting more interested in this. And he's been, if you look back last October, we did some trailer reaction videos to some horror movies he hadn't seen yet from the 80s. And some that he has, and he loved it. He's had fun. He makes appearances on the live streams like this one. He'll just pop in. Like, it's funny when at 11:30 at night, he just comes stumbling in all half asleep. He'll walk all the way from the upstairs down to the office, the basement, and come in just to say hi to everybody. So, yeah, that's, and he is. He's a little performer already, so I'm ecstatic about the possibility of building this, and like I said, because he watches a lot of YouTube. He does. But I monitor what he watches. When he's on.
I don't blame him.
He does,
considering the state of entertainment.
He does. He likes watching. He watches a lot of people play like. This Ninja Turtles game he has on his tablet because he likes to figure out like how to get things without having to spend money. Because I told him you're not spending any money on it. Forget about that. So, but yeah, it is. It's fun to see the progression in my mini me. But I wish he could get. I wish I could still. I was still wrestling, and he could actually, because we just watched one of my old matches. He never actually watched one before, so I keep trying to get him to watch wrestling with me, and he doesn't want to. And then he watched one of my matches, and he's like, "Okay," he goes, "I like this now." I'm like, "All right," So it's kind of fun. But
very intense industry. Usually, you're traveling everywhere, and you only take a day off when you're injured. So. Consider that, kid, one of the most injury-prone sports in the whole of the United States of America. And that's saying something, considering the amount of contact sports you guys have over there.
Oh, yeah. Well, you football, like a sport I spent 4 years playing, and to the detriment of my knees, my ankles, my shoulders, 2 concussions in high school. Yeah, it is, man. It's rough. And if I hadn't worked so hard to keep myself in shape, I would probably be like, I look around at most guys my age that I went to school with, and they're either just fat or just completely falling apart already. And I'm like, how? Like, how? Like, there's been times about like,
obesity, that's how.
I haven't worked out in like a year, but like I try to eat right, and I go for walks and stuff like that. Like, I have a weight room right on the other side of the wall. I have a complete weight room, which I need to start getting myself back in shape again. I want to start lifting because like this summer, the kid wants to start working out with me. So it's like, all right. And I watched my dad at 53 go from 270 pounds to 195 pounds with 8% body fat and do a bodybuilding comp. So it's like, I can do it, there's no hesitation in being able to. I just want to I want to impart that onto my kid so he develops those lifelong habits of staying healthy and just it's because he can't play contact sports because he had a lot of head injuries at birth, so like skull fracture injuries to where it's like he can't ever play contact sports.
Oh.
And here he comes again. I can hear him coming down the stairs.
Oh no. Well, here's a tip for you, ladies and gentlemen. Frowning reduces wrinkles on the camera, and with proper lighting, you can actually have no wrinkles. Yes. Well, since Etep is dealing with his little boy, I might as well shill what I am and where I am. You can check me out at Ryan Roger Athe. I am the host and founder of Reality Based. You can find me on YouTube at Ryan Roger Athe, Twitter at Ryan Roger Athe, Instagram at Ryan Roger Athe, and even on Twitch as Ryan Roger Athe Live, although I barely use Twitch. Sorry about that, Etep. I was just promoting myself while you were dealing with your little kid.
Yeah, he came down to he had to get the Switch. I had it down here from Saturday night when we were playing Mario Kart. So there's Ryan's YouTube link right there in the chat.
To think, Etep, that over the course of 70, 80 years, we've gone from attacking the Japanese to using their products. Although they attacked you first, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, that Pearl Harbor thing, a little sneaky. But I was waiting when Pop was over there last time for him to apologize to them again or something and grovel, which I mean we're beyond that. I'd say we're pretty good terms with Japan. They don't. At least they don't. I don't think they look at us like the Chinese do.
No, they're not powerful enough to. But if they were, they'd curb stomp America. They would.
Oh yeah. They just know they can't do it. It's that
like China for the longest time before they became a superpower, which they are today. But when they were a dirt poor communist hellhole, they despised Japan. But they couldn't do anything about Japan because Japan is practically Asian America, folks, and America has done its damnedest over nearly a century now. God, we're not that far away from 2045, folks. For nearly a century now, America has been trying its best to westernize Japan because, in a sense, before that, it was like the Asian British Empire, spreading all across the Pacific region, trying to take over the world, just like we Brits did, and couldn't do anymore because of you Yankee bastards. And because we borrowed loads of money and stuff from you during the Second World War. But yes, Japan has that potential to be a superpower. And they may be all, sunshine and rainbows to your face. But if they ever became powerful enough, I'm sure they'd become an enemy of America again. Especially if China decided to, collapse and die. Because if you think about it, Etep, who are the closest nations that could take over China? Russia, maybe. Mongolia, maybe. Korea, maybe. But it's most likely going to be Japan. So,
North Korea is an interesting place because, I mean, they're obviously run by a megalomaniac.
Yeah.
But they tout their nuclear strength, but I mean their nuclear capabilities are basically my kid with a slingshot in the backyard.
It's a contradiction. It's a communist dynasty, which is one of the most hypocritical things I think I've ever seen in a governmental system. But the danger of North Korea is not the fact that it could defeat the South. It's the fact that they have enough weapons to obliterate a city of 30 million people, which is about 13 miles away from its border, happens to be the capital of South Korea, which is Seoul. And if we attack them, they could easily kill 30 million people in less than a week, because they do have a lot of weapons, and every single one of their starving citizens is capable of fighting for the next loaf of bread. So, yeah.
That's it. It wouldn't be an effect on the world, but they would obliterate South Korea. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's cutting off your nose despite your face. I mean, if you really think
North
about
Korea
it.
to a nutshell, Etep.
Yeah. That's us attacking Canada.
Yeah.
It would. It's like that. Well, they made a movie about Canadian Bacon with John Candy. I believe that was one of his last movies. Either that or Wagons East. But yeah, that whole war, against Canada, they drummed up a war against Canada. It's like, why would that's North Korea attacking them? Yeah, they don't have long range weapons, but they've definitely, like you said, they've got enough firepower to. And that's the thing is like if the U.S. hypothetically was going to conduct operations against North Korea, it would have to be under the cover of night, and it would have to be like a blitzkrieg attack, to where they have no opportunity whatsoever for any kind of retaliatory force. But then what would that do to the rest? If you attack North Korea, you're going to make Russia and China go, wait a minute, because they're already chomping at the bit.
Yeah,
I mean, they're doing everything they can to. And Pop IC says the Yahtzees didn't lose the war. Operation Paperclip. Yep.
You can make that point, my good man, although I will say this. If there ever is a conflict between the United States and North Korea, I just hope you Yankees realize You can't spare any of them. Their entire population has been brainwashed.
Oh yeah,
To stand by the regime. So if you Yankees, Dixies, and Callies can have 30 million people on your conscience, then that's more than up to you. We may join in too, but that's what it's going to take. You're going to have to annihilate an entire country.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to do it to South Korea because they won't spare anyone.
No, like you said, you've got an entire population who has been, and I remember, didn't they had some journalists go over, and they were just interviewing normal citizens, and they hate Americans.
Yeah.
They hate Americans. You know, and that's it.
And that we're utterly savage and that we turn our children into monsters. Well, that bit is true. But yes, there are a lot of things, a lot of propaganda that is used. Most of it's wrong, but some of it increasingly, as of late, is correct, especially the tranny demon stuff.
Yeah.
Which they use to showcase how fucking mental the United States especially is.
Yeah. And that's, and it's like, you can't say anything about that because it is happening. You know, it is. And but as far as like normal, like I have no ill will towards anybody that lives in North Korea. That's just a normal citizen. None. You know, it's like when we talk about these other countries and it's like, yeah, we need to like China. It's like, I don't hate Chinese people. The government, because the government treats their people like garbage. I mean, they murder people. I mean, it's allegedly in Minecraft. You know, it's not like during the pandemic, they weren't sealing people in their apartments or anything like that, you know, while the doors shut. That never happened, did it? But hey, you know, when your leader looks like Winnie the Pooh, I mean, when you know, he's an angry little bear, isn't he? Probably because he doesn't have any pants and he has to wear a sweater all the time.
Well, that's the thing. It's a clash of ideas, Etep, because countries like Russia, China, North Korea, they were not built on freedom. In fact, it was freedom that nearly destroyed their nations, especially China. Chinese civil war, all these warlords having the ability and the freedom to do as they wished, caused chaos throughout the realm as it was back then. And then, of course, the Japanese invasion. Freedom to them is seen as a bad thing because of what they, as a civilization, have experienced. So that's why they have a command and control system. You do as the authorities say. Otherwise, you're an agent of chaos and you have to be purged.
It's almost it's not willingful, but it is sort of willingful subjugation.
Yes.
You know, they just throw themselves into it because they don't know anything else. And it's Pavlovian conditioning. And I know I use that a lot, but that's what a lot of this is, because it's the dog with salivating at the sound of a bell. These people are conditioned to expect and fall in line with these dictatorships and that way of life, the fiefdom and serfdom, if you will. And
don't forget, it's 12% of the planet, just in one country. You add India, which for a long time was a socialist country, that's 25% of the planet, another billion people. That's a quarter of the world's people in two countries, and they're left-leaning. Well, less so now in India now, because it has a nationalist at the helm. But for a time, Etep, say the 1980s, 1990s, 25% of the planet was left-leaning. Of course, when you were born in 1980, I believe, half the world was communist.
Yeah.
So things have been better, folks, but it's been a lot worse. It's been a lot worse than it is now. So take the pluses and the minuses. Oh my, it's been nearly an hour. So
yeah. We don't, unless you have to go, we don't have to wrap right now.
No, I've got plenty of time. My good man.
We're good. I have the rest of the night off. I'm not doing any streams tonight. I might do a video today for you guys. I've got a short. We have Juggalo Cash featuring Nelson the Psychopath. We got another. Did you see the Conway Twitty short we did?
No, I've been very busy.
Okay. All right, here we'll do this. We'll do this right now. We'll show this in case there's anybody in the chat who hasn't seen this yet. Here, let's we'll do this. We'll go over here and we'll show this because Nelson does the vocals for these. So my tattoo artist, who is a funny, talented guy. So here's some of the shorts, but we'll go over here and this is, of course, it's muted. Why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway.
If I want to porn it,
fuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twit.
I'm headed down the southern trail. I'm going chicken hunting, chopping redneck chicken necks. I ain't saying nothing to that hillbilly. Stick my barrel in his eye. Boom shaka, head chunks in the sky. Why? I never liked chicken pot pie or a chopped chicken on rye. Tell Mr. Willie Bubba I'ma cut his neck up. Chop, chop, there you go, scare cut. What do you do with a drunken hillbilly? Cut his fucking eyes out and feed him to his Aunt Tilly.
Again, good luck with your monetization.
So we've got that's Papa knows. He said that's chicken hunting. I was a juggalo growing up, man. Before I got into tax bracket I'm in now, I was a juggalo. No, man, my wife is related. Like I said, she's a cousin to Shaggy Two Dope from ICP. So yeah, but I was a huge ICP fan back in the day, and I was like, Nelson said that to me. I'm like, we're gonna turn this into something. Have a great day, fake Thai dude. See you, brother. Thank you for joining in, man.
Fake Thai dude. Does that mean you were a guy and now you're a woman or something? One of those. Because all the Thai women are really men. That's where I was going to say emanated from.
That's like the capital of the ladyboy population, isn't it? It's supposed to be like over there, yeah. Well, they had that was a song by Murray Head from Pet Shop Boys, One Night in Bangkok. That's a good 80s.
Your capital, Bangkok.
Didn't put too much thought into that one, did they? Here's something of interest because I have we're talking about the Flash here. Director Andy Muschietti confirms Nicolas Cage Superman cameo. I dreamt all of my life to work with him. Nicolas Cage in the year 2000 was supposed to be in J.J. Abrams' Superman movie called Superman Flyby. And in the third act, he was supposed to fight a giant metal spider, which actually went on to be in the movie Wild Wild West with Will Smith and Kevin Kline. Because one of the writers actually wrote that into that movie. That's how that happened. But yeah, Nicolas Cage went there. There's pictures on the internet of him getting fitted for the suit when he was supposed to play Superman. So that's why they're bringing him in to do this cameo. And I think I severely underestimated how much money this is going to make on opening weekend based on nostalgia. I'm not going to see it at all. But
I personally think that The Flash is the culmination of the idea I have called the DCFU, which is a gigantic FU to the entire DC community as we move from the Snyderverse to what will undoubtedly be called the Gunverse, with this void in the middle full of films that really don't matter, or in this case, a film that basically destroys one universe and allows others to rebuild it. So hopefully it fails, so I can make a video called Reality Based Presents The Flash Fails, followed by other scathing critiques in the title.
And I had said this, and I wrote this weeks and weeks ago. I think 200 million domestic opening, or worldwide. I'm sorry, I said 200 plus or minus 15 mil opening weekend, and then a 50 to 55% first to second weekend drop. It was my prediction.
Because this movie it's expensive and it's been heavily advertised, so the budget of this film must be at least minimum $500 million, if not if not more.
Oh, absolutely. The production budget. This has been in development since 2016.
Jesus Christ!
When
Look, it's a red flag, whether it's in movies or in games, especially in games, when it takes literally close to a decade to produce the damn thing. You know, for me, Etep, it's a year in pre-production, a year, maybe a year and a half in production, and then about half a year to a year post-production. A good 3 to 4 year timeline to make a game or to make a film. Not why has it taken 7 years to make this?
They started development of this around the time when they had wrapped up shooting on Justice League, the original one, and they were going to do Flash and Cyborg, which Cyborg being in the Justice League made no sense to me at all. Cyborg is a Teen Titans character, you know, that Titans that made no sense. Why they didn't go with Martian Manhunter or John Stewart's Green Lantern? They want representation. And honestly, John Stewart's Green Lantern is probably one of the best versions of the character. I think he's better than Hal Jordan's character. I don't understand why not use Martian Manhunter? You had Harry Lennox play him in the Snyder cut, which I'm not a Snyder guy at all, but I like Harry Lennox. Because I used to watch Blacklist with him and James Spader, which I'm a huge James Spader fan. I find his manner of speaking both captivating and soothing at the same time, and he's just his range, his acting range is amazing.
Well, if you describe the DCU in a single word, it would have to be inconsistency. And for me, I call it the DCFU, because in order to start again another time, you've alienated a solid group of fans who can be very zealous at times, who support what the Snyderverse has to offer, which makes me think that even if the Gunverse does well starting off, all of those fans who supported what Snyder did, no matter what you think of the man personally or even professionally, you're not going to win over that core group that really galvanized and helped put into existence a solid film. Had it been released into cinemas, I think it would have made bank. Maybe they should have waited like Top Gun did, because that was planned to be released in, I think it was in 2019, but they pushed it back because of the pandemic. If they had all held on, as it were, until cinemas were opening again, that would have made big money for Warner Brothers. But what's done is done. And that's why I call it the MCU Etep versus the DCFU. So
that's a more accurate description I could not find. The MCU is another thing that was just, that's like a dagger in the heart. But I mean, we should have seen this. The writing was on the wall. It was. When from the moment that Brie Larson tweeted, "Hey EW, you want to break the internet?" and announced she was Captain Marvel, I honestly really didn't know much about her at that point outside of seeing her in like Kong Skull Island. I was like, "Who the hell is this?" And then I start looking into her, and it's like, "Oh God!" And it's like
one woman who ruined the MCU.
Well, then, they announce Captain Marvel, and it's like, wait, why aren't you doing a Black Widow movie? She's been here since the beginning almost. It's like, why aren't you focusing on her or Scarlet Witch? And we have to wait. And then, here's Doctor Strange 2, aka a Scarlet Witch movie. They do this roundabout way, and it doesn't, like the Black Widow movie, I wish that was better. Like, I wanted to like that movie because I like the character. She's been around since 1961. It's like, give her just due. And then you have Kate Shortland direct this movie, who admittedly doesn't know how to read a comic book. My 7-year-old can do that. I mean, he does.
Make a woman joke there, but I don't think it's worth it.
You just put in that's where you just put in the meme with the guy with the cup of coffee that just says women. That's basically it. I mean,
like the creature on your screen, a woman. Because folks, this looks creepier than Michael Jackson.
This
far
fucking
more controversial.
Ezra Miller, how he's allowed to walk freely after everything he's done. And I know normally we say, benefit of the doubt, he's been accused of. But, I mean, we saw him assault a woman on camera. I mean,
like Kevin Spacey as Superman. or Lex Luthor. Because he was Lex Luthor in a Superman Returns. It's like if all of those allegations came out about him then, and he's still in the bloody movie... it's not good, folks. Creeps. Creeps. But this creature has been there and done it, folks. Alleged creeps should not have a place in the establishment, but they do because Hollywood or Hollyweird is full of creeps. Mel Gibson knows that all too well.
Oh, they're making a sequel to The Passion of the Christ. Oh. Speaking of that, which Caviezel is apparently coming back to reprise, so that'll be
come back to the present and take on Hollywood and all the dangerous creatures in the Passion of the Christ.
That would be amazing if it was like the Family Guy parody. If they if they did that, he just comes out guns a-blazing, driving an Escalade. But it would be if they did, the media would just... I'll be interested to see how the media covers The Passion of the Christ, too, because it was interesting enough back in, what did that come out, 04, 05, something like that? I mean, it was a long time ago that movie came out. So, honestly, I don't think I've seen it since then.
I tell you this, Etep. For me, there'd be nothing better than a film starring... Mel Gibson, Steven Seagal, Kevin Spacey, all the very controversial actors and actresses that you don't really see anymore. And then they would be the bad guys, and the good guys would be like Keanu Reeves, Tom Cruise, Donald Glover, Keith David, all these iconic actors that everyone seems to love, and have that ultimate heroes versus villains film. Do you imagine, Etep, Tom Cruise taking on Steven Seagal, like the height? And how it would be hilarious, but also very gripping. Or Mike Tyson versus Keanu Reeves. Very controversial character versus someone who is practically adored by everyone. It'd be a very great idea, but like Mars Attacks, it would be very expensive. And it may not be well received because that film was very expensive, and it wasn't really well received, despite the fact that I found it hilarious. Personally.
I saw that in the theater. I still I watched that with Trey not long ago, and so he ran around for a couple days afterward, going bat, and I'm like, God damn it! I knew that was going to come back to bite me in the ass. But yeah, that movie was funny. Jack Nicholson in that, Jim Brown, I almost call him James Brown. Jim Brown, God rest his soul.
Natalie Portman, Jack Black.
Yeah. Oh God. Joe Don Baker was in that, the original guy from Walking Tall. I mean, you had a hell of a cast in that movie.
Colin Powell look-alike.
Oh God. I'm looking up the budget for that now.
It was very expensive as far as I'm aware. I think it barely made its money back off the top of my head. I am known for bloopers, folks, so do forgive me. I try my best to be entertaining and informative, but I'm not a news source. Don't use me in a case study.
So the production budget was $100 million.
In the 90s, that was a lot of money.
In 96, it made worldwide $101,381,197. Domestic opening on December 13th, 96 was $9,384,272. So yeah, that movie lost some money because that $100 million budget doesn't take into consideration all the marketing and stuff.
You got to at least double it, folks. That's the double rule as far as I'm aware. But But with stuff like The Flash or The Little Mermaid, their advertising budgets have been so massive that you may have to triple it. Now, that seems a bit far-fetched, but these studios, Disney, Warner Brothers, they spend a lot more money on advertising now, especially for controversial films.
I usually go by like what I think Odin uses, is it like a 2.5 times multiplier for marketing, I believe. So the budget right now, and Hale, the men's room, what's going on, brother? He said, yo, I hear Nicolas Cage is uncredited for The Flash. I hear he's going to be Superman. Yeah, that's what we were talking about. The director confirmed it, Andy Muschietti, who directed, I believe it was It Chapter 2, which I've never seen. I have never watched any of the new It movies. Okay, being a parent, it's difficult to watch movies where children are dismembered, and I know that's what happens. I wasn't even the only reason I liked the original one, the miniseries that was spliced together into a movie, was obviously Tim Curry. Tim Curry is a goddamn treasure, and so talented. But yeah, I have no interest in the new one at all. Little too
by salvaging the old. It's not possible anymore. We have to rebuild new folks and support those who are creating their own stories, whether they're prominent, like Eric July or Ethan Van Sciver, or whether they're up-and-coming creators with their own projects. It doesn't matter what they're like personally, folks. We're all in the same boat. And if that means working with saints, sinners, maybe a few snakes on the side, so be it. Because... well, I don't want our ship to sink. I want the establishment's ship to sink, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's why I get on with so many fine people.
See? Mm-hmm. The Flash right now has a $220 million production budget, okay? So you're looking upwards of $500 million to break even.
Ooh.
So
$600 million if you go by if you go by times 2, it's 440. If you go by times 3, it would be 660. So
which is probably closer to reality. Is around the 600 million mark. So this one is gonna have some very long legs at the box office to break even. But this movie, James Gunn, when he came out and made his announcement. He kind of poo-pooed the fact, and he said that, well, this is going to reset the entire DCU. Well, it's not. It's not, because if you're resetting the entire DCU, you're wiping the slate clean. They're bringing back Jason Momoa. They're unsure about Ezra Miller. They're bringing back Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. You know, there's still... some leeway and nuance to Shazam, whether they're bringing, Zachary Levi's character back or not, because he's friends with Peter Safran, who is the co-head of DC with James Gunn now. So there's a lot of shit still up in the air. But and the things that James Gunn announced, we watched that live, and I don't care about any of it. Like Creature Commandos, like what? And for him to say the Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman movie is still in play, but it'll be an Elseworld story, is laughable, because nobody wants to see Ta-Nehisi Coates massacre Superman. Ta-Nehisi Coates hates America, hates the country that gives him the freedoms to say, I hate this country. You know, his comments are very well documented, what he said about the 9/11 first responders. And, no matter what our opinions on what happened in 9/11, the first responders, they don't deserve ridicule, or he called them subhuman, basically.
Where's the nearest catapult to send him back to Africa? Can we even build one that big? I don't know, but it's worth a try. If he can't get there, well, I'm sure he can swim across the Atlantic. We shoot him halfway.
Just get the trebuchet and fire him into the sun.
I thought of a good movie idea, Etep. What about Zachary Levi's Shazam versus The Rock's Black Adam? Because crazier things have happened. I know both film ideas have lost money, but two wrongs could well make a right. You just never know.
I liked Black Adam. I liked the movie. I thought it was entertaining. And honestly, after seeing that, I really, really wanted to see Chris, I almost said Christopher Reeve. Jesus. I really wanted to see Cavill's Superman involved with that whole thing more because it's Shazam and Superman versus Black Adam most of the time. And I'm like, okay. But The Rock screwed that up by his attempted coup behind the scenes at DC, and it failed miserably, and he lost. And, Aldous Hodge that played Hawkman should be the new T'Challa in Marvel. Like, Aldous Hodge was really, really good as Hawkman. That was one, and that right there is a perfect example of a race swap that I even said, hey, look, I spoke out about that when it first was announced because Hawkman isn't black. But I'm like, after seeing the movie, it was okay. It really was. Yeah, it was okay. It did the character justice. Dr. Fate, who I wasn't familiar with, Pierce Brosnan it's fucking Pierce Brosnan. The man's a goddamn amazing actor. I really liked him in that AMC show, The Sun, which, if you've never seen that, he was taken from his family, which were killed by Indians, during the settler days, and he was raised by him and then became like a prominent Texas oil man and had to defend his land. It was a great series, and Brosnan was fucking fantastic in it.
I think the failure of Black Adam to make a profit could be a potential problem for the future of what I like to call the DCFU, because it wasn't a terrible movie. I'd say a good 6 out of 10 film, very entertaining, but it didn't make its money back as far as I'm aware. You could say the same of The Flash, because a lot of money has been put into it, but it could go to show, ladies and gentlemen, that it's dark times ahead for the DCFU under the Gunverse. Will James Gunn start small and work his way up to raise the stakes, or will he go guns blazing? In all honesty, Etep, I can't remember the last time a DC film made a profit off the top of my head. Aquaman? Now I'm going to tell you you're muted because I'm going to burst out laughing.
There we go. Okay.
Folks,
there we go.
The fact that I was going, yeah.
God damn it. No, Aquaman came out in December of 2019, and it seems like that movie came out a decade ago. It really does.
What was that film again? You repeat that?
What's that?
What was that film you were talking about again?
Aquaman.
Aquaman. Yes.
Yeah, that made $1 billion. That's the last DC movie to make. I was looking at Black Adam. The budget on that went up to $260 million with reshoots, so that's not counting anything else. And it only made $393,252,111 worldwide. So they lost a truckload of money on that one.
Maybe
so
it would be best to start small with a low budget television series, mainly for younger people who have never seen a DC brand in their life, and work from there and foster a new generation, because the current generation really do see it as the DCFU. One loss after another, and no doubt they're going in a different direction now because they need to, but they're inconsistent, so they'll probably fail.
And that's the thing. You had to go back to get Michael Keaton to come back and play Batman.
How old is he now? It's got to be
70.
Oh,
I think. Hang on. Let's see. Yeah, I think he's 70.
Goodness.
71 years old. He'll be 72 on September 5th. Yeah, and they have to go back to a 72-year-old actor, basically, to get people to come watch your movie. And Supergirl, Sasha Calais, they dumbed her down. She's a beautiful woman, but they chopped her hair off and made her look like Oliver Platt from Ready to Rumble. I mean, just, but Aquaman, I was mistaken. I have to correct. Aquaman came out in theaters December 18th, or December 7th, 2018. So that one came out in 2018. It made $1,148,528,393. Internationally, $800 million. Domestically, $335 million. Yeah.
That's quite a contrast, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's pre-pandemic, the breakdown of international to domestic there. I mean, you're talking 70 to 30, basically, it breaks down. But that was one of the first movies outside of Star Wars that, because the boy was 3 years old when that came out. And we sat down and watched that. We didn't go to the theater. We watched it at home. And he was absolutely riveted and just like locked into that movie. And a lot of it, I will say, was probably the colors. That movie was we'll look at everything else that was coming out in DC. It was all the Snyder shit.
Yeah,
so it was all
bland, dark, and you had
dreary,
Black Panther, with the big red eyes just going.
Yep. Yeah. So it was, but yeah, so this one was a stark contrast to that. So he really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first one, but now it's like I have, after the Amber Heard stuff and everything else going on at DC, it's like this movie's dead. It's like Blue Beetle. It's dead in the water. Blue Beetle, another one. I was looking forward to that because I like Zolo Maraduenas that plays Miguel on Cobra Kai is playing the titular character in Blue Beetle. And I saw the trailer and they're like, George Lopez, Batman's a fascist. All right, fuck you. I'm out.
It's a second-rate film, a CW film, going into a first-rate environment. Of course it's going to fail.
And it's dead in the water. It's dead in the water because of the reboot. So, like, why they didn't shelf this and use it for a tax write-off like they did the Batgirl movie is beyond me. It really is.
Well, it just goes to show, Etep, that in order for the DC universe to survive, it needs to be multi-layered, but it needs a coherent story to keep it anchored. So you've got the main cast of superheroes and supervillains for the mainstay DCU. Then you've got the second-rate superheroes and supervillains, the CW type nonsense for the up-and-coming, producers and directors to, flex their muscles and try their best and take some risks. But no, the second-rate producers and directors of that level, of the CW level, are utterly awful. No wonder they had to recruit someone who is getting on in age, folks. He looks like an anime character, in all honesty, in James Gunn, who has had experience in filmmaking for as long as I've been alive, bare minimum. But he is, I think he's in his 50s now, off the top of my head. How long is he going to be around to be at his solid edge? 10 years? 20 years? I mean, you put all your eggs in the Snyder basket and then chuck them under the bus, Warner Brothers. So, yeah, I wouldn't work for them. Personally.
No. There's no consistency at the top. You've got too much infighting. Everybody wants, as the saying goes, too many chiefs and not enough Indians over there. That's the issue. Hey, good stuff. What's going on? Welcome, brother. Welcome, my editor extraordinaire. Good stuff. But yeah, that's the problem with DC is there's just it's always been a mess. It has just been a hot mess since Snyder took over because you had, like I said, the only character that I really looked at that Snyder could have translated properly was Batman. And then you look at BVS and you're like, okay, I was wrong. Like, and I own that movie. I got the Ultimate Edition of it, and I was like, all right, maybe if I get this, it'll make it. No, it doesn't make any more sense. It doesn't. No, and Superman and that was it was just ridiculous. It was a ridiculous fucking movie. That one lost some money too, and had a monumental first to second week drop because of bad word of mouth. I just remember that because we were doing like Chrysler when I was working for Chrysler. We were doing a huge promotion for that movie because they tied in the advertising to like what was it, like the Jeep Renegade. They had the Dark Knight edition of it and everything like that. And like it was like a little Jeep Renegade with like Batman symbols in it. I mean, it was kind of neat if you're, but the vehicle itself was like no.
Yeah. All those big blockbuster movies are failing, folks. Films like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, with a tiny budget of about $1 million, can make 20, maybe 30 times its budget, and it's going to be like Friday the 13th, folks. It literally is. It's Winnie the Pooh meets Friday the 13th. They're going to probably make dozens of those, like low-budget slasher Winnie the Pooh films. Bring in Tigger, bring in Rabbit, bring in all these other characters, and rinse and repeat. And that could well be the future of cinema, Etep. Low-budget films that are to the point, with a lot of action, a lot of adventure, a lot of suspense, and make bank. Not because they're good films, but because they have tiny budgets, and people are intrigued. That means lots of profit.
Evil Dead Rise, for example, which is still in theaters right now. That one had a $17 million budget. So even if you double that or triple it, it's made right now worldwide $142,648,000. That movie has made money hand over fist.
Well, look, as another idea that's much more tangible, look what Nintendo has done with the Super Mario Bros., how it could breed an entire new generation of films, the real MCU, as I like to call it, the Mario Cinematic Universe, or you can call it the Nintendo Cinematic Universe and have it like that. Or they could just be standalone films in their own ecosystem, but the amount of possibilities is endless. I mean, Nintendo has already made bank with Pokemon, especially with the card games and the films. So I'm amazed they didn't do this earlier.
I'm waiting for the Legend of Zelda movie announcement. I think the next one they're going to do is a Donkey Kong, maybe, which is fine. I'm all for it at this point. Think about the two big franchises right now that are winning at the box office and have one. You have Sonic the Hedgehog and the Super Mario Brothers. So Sega and Nintendo can basically single-handedly save cinema with their, the third Sonic movie. I'm just as excited for that as I was the first two. Those movies were fun. That Sonic the Hedgehog was the first movie I took my son to see in the theater. And he was enthralled with it. And then we went to see Onward after that, which I liked Onward. I thought it was fun. I used to do a series called Is It Woke? There's like 6 installments, and Onward was the first movie I did because everybody was complaining about, wow, they're pushing lesbian, they're blah, 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 blah. So I watched the movie, and there's a one-off scene where the cops are approaching Barley, which is played by Chris Pratt and Tom Holland's character, and the one is talking to the other one, and they're both females, and she's like, my girlfriend's kids are keeping me up all night or making me pull my hair out. And that's the only time it's mentioned the entire movie. And you're talking about a movie about 2 young men, brothers, who are going to try to find a way to spend one more day with their father. I mean, to me, that doesn't scream woke.
Well, that's how sensitive we have all gotten because we want to make pop culture great again. And we're trying our best to highlight the problem, as it were, wherever it is. It doesn't matter how substantive it is in that case. Although I have found that after the third Sonic film, which will no doubt be a great success, Jim Carrey will unfortunately retire, or probably. But hopefully he can still do a bit of voice acting. as Sonic and all those wonderful characters go into the animated space and do some animated features using the same style with Nintendo and Universal, with Illumination. And the possibilities there are endless. To imagine two companies that tried to exterminate one another from the gaming sphere 30, or is it 40, years ago, now they could potentially, they could work together, make bank, and save pop culture as we know it. So it just goes to show how much can change one way, but it could also go to hell in a handbasket, folks. I mean, Nintendo is a notoriously stubborn company, so they've managed to protect themselves quite well. But once the infestation is in, given that they've been a stubborn company for so long, they may never get rid of it if it gets in. The same could apply to Sega, although that company has made a few mistakes throughout its time.
Yeah.
But it is making more money than it's ever had before. So there is that. There are lots of possibilities.
Yeah, and we just just kind of keep your fingers crossed and hope they turn out right. It's kind of like that the A24 series they're coming out with. Like I said, I'm a huge Friday the 13th fan. The Crystal Lake prequel series for Friday the 13th, which is, like I said, my favorite horror franchise. I'm writing a Friday the 13th movie right now. I've been working on it for months, and it is like it is a love letter to the franchise. Like, I mean, I've sent it to a couple people who've read what I've got so far, and they're like, "That's good." So I'm
it's a very simple idea that has been rinsed and repeated so many times. So giving it to a new generation to savor and to enjoy would be wonderful. But I have found that once you scale up the slasher movie concept in terms of finance, the returns you get don't scale up with it, which is why it is confined in a sense. So good luck with that.
Thank you. And that's my goal is, because like I said, I want to start working out again. I want to bulk back up, because there's no doubt in my mind we'll end up doing this as like an independent film, which is fine. But I want to play the Jason Voorhees character, and I need to put on about 20 to 30 pounds to kind of look the part. So that's something I'm willing to do, because I've always wanted to either be in a horror movie and be like a victim and have this like amazing gruesome death, or play like the killer. And there's no better one than the one that is tattooed on my arm than Jason Voorhees, for me anyway. So yeah, that is the goal.
Well, my heart, unfortunately, cannot take the horror genre, which is why I do not put my toes into it. It's hard enough watching Tales from the Hood. Never mind Friday the 13th. I did watch The Thing. That was fucked up. But, trying to watch the modern equivalent, it just doesn't hit the same way, folks, which is why salvaging the old may sound good, but what worked in the 1980s doesn't work today. Different ways of doing things, different kind of budgeting. Most people rely on computer-generated imagery because practical effects, while nice, very difficult to perfect it. It was very difficult for them back then to perfect it. And you had to take a lot of risks back then. But for today, we have to chart our own course. We have to create our own ideas, and if they sink, that's bad, but learn from your mistakes. Or if they swim, that's fantastic. That's why we need to continue to develop. Leave what was as it is, and use it as inspiration to create, hopefully, what will be.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's we need the modern generation to realize that activist writing is not marketable.
No.
That's the problem with a lot of these, like you mentioned the CW, and as somebody who reviewed Batwoman for 3 years, I don't know how I did it. And I could nary take 4 episodes of Gotham Knights, and I was done.
So incompetent was the behind the scenes of Batwoman that they nearly killed Batwoman. That just goes to show how backward the entertainment establishment has gotten, that they are so unprofessional that they nearly killed their lead character in real life.
Causing her to leave the show, you know. And then they, of course, recast Javicia Leslie, a.k.a. Ryan Wilder, who literally had the bat suit fall out of the sky into her lap, and then she just seamlessly took over. Seamlessly took over everything. It's like,
how stereotypical a black woman steals something and makes it her own.
Oh, on that note, folks, it is lunchtime here for me, and I am gonna have to go feed. I haven't eaten because, like I said, we all got a stomach bug. That's why everybody's home today. Yeah, so that's why I'm not at school. The kid's not at school, and the wife's not at work. So everybody's kind of just relaxing today. But thank you, Ryan, for hanging out, man.
How dangerous. No, it's great to be here, my good man. I have had a fantastic time, and hopefully this will be the first of many conversations that we have. Thank you, Gap. I'll have you on tomorrow, and hopefully you're not ill again. And anytime you need a guest for a Place to Be reviews, you know where to find me.
I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate everybody in the chat. Frankie Knows, Hail Brother, Gap, the Men's Room, Goodstuff, Tina Bojan, Tolbat, Papa Cotton, Fake Tie Dude, Brutal Morningwood with the best name on YouTube. Thank you, everybody. Justin Proper was here. I appreciate you guys. Johnny, JP7, which we haven't seen. I haven't seen him in the chat in a while. Joe's Atmosphere, Horny Alf. Thank you, Godzillionaire. Thank you guys. I appreciate you hanging out with us this morning. I will be working on a video here in a few hours. I'm going to go try to eat something, do a little bit of work, maybe get outside for a little bit. And I'll be back tomorrow night on Ryan's show, Reality Based. And then I will be hosting Holy Shit News tomorrow evening. Thursday night, I will be over on Black Angus's channel. Friday, I will be watching Wrestling with Draven. I think the rest of the week, we're going to do morning shows, too, for you guys. I've missed these. So I got to set the streams up for the rest of the week. And I think we are back this Saturday night with Saturday night's main event. Missed doing it last week, so we're back this week, better than ever. Thank you, everybody. My Subscribe Star members, thank you guys. Thank everybody for just coming out, smacking the like button, hanging out with us for a couple hours, and just listening to us chat. I appreciate you so much. Your time is an irreplaceable commodity, and you have chosen to spend it wisely this morning. Thank you so much. I'm Etep Okuian from the Place to Be Reviews. We've been here with all these. We don't see you. Have a great day. A pleasant tomorrow. We'll catch you on the next one.
It's better to burn out than to fade away.
I could do